Okay, got it.
Got it. Okay. So thanks for talking to me this morning. I wanted to talk to you because I've noticed something coming up over and over for me, right? And it's about well, you know what it's like when you run into one person who's miserable in a day and you think, oh, that person's either having a bad day or they're a jerk or whatever. But then when you run into like 5 people that are an asshole, usually it's not them, it's you. So I'm assuming this is some lesson that I have to learn. But I keep running into situations or people where I feel like I'm not being listened to or heard. And I feel like I'm getting spoken over and just not listened to. And it's really starting to grate on my nerves and bother me. But it's not one person doing it, it's multiple people. So I'm wondering what the lesson here is for me. And I'll tell you, there's something else going on too, and it's really got me sad and frustrated and just, well, sad and frustrated because, I used to spend like an hour talking to my mom on the phone almost every day because she's in Scotland, right? But sometimes, I don't know if I told you about this. There was an incident that happened. Sometimes she calls and I'm busy. I'm out with my kids.
You told me that
and I don't answer the phone.
last time. You told me the story.
Okay. Okay. All right. So did I tell you that I spoke to my mom about it?
What I think at the end of that conversation, you had a plan to keep it light and then maybe suggest a weekly talk or something like that.
Yeah, because she was calling all of my kids and saying I hadn't answered the phone in 5 weeks. And so anyway, I did talk to her, but it's the phone calls that I am having with her are going downhill really, really fast. So the phone calls we used to have 4 or 5 months ago were fun. We would talk, we would both laugh. It was like a good conversation and I'd look forward to talking to her the next day. And now when she calls, she repeats everything from the day before, right? Almost down to the exact same thing. She asks the same questions about, did Josh move back? Did he move into a fourplex? Are you looking for jobs? Are you still coming here in September? Like, it's the same thing, but now it's gotten even worse. So in the same conversation, like within 15 minutes, she's asking these same questions. And it's getting really frustrating for me because I don't want, when somebody says, yeah, you told me that, you just did it to me a second ago. You already told me that I don't want to do that to her because it's embarrassing and I don't want to make her feel bad that she's not remembering things, but at the same time, it's just so draining for me and frustrating, and she won't remember the conversation the next day anyway. And I'm just thinking, like, I don't know how to handle that, and it's affecting my day, right? Like, I'm kind of dreading her phone calls, and then after I talk to her, I just want to get off the phone. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling just, I don't know. And then maybe that is like spilling over onto other conversations I'm having with people. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday and he's like, where in the world have you traveled? And then there wasn't even a breath and he started listing off all the places that he had traveled. And I was like, so do you want to know where I've traveled, or do you just want an opportunity just to talk? Because I'm not getting a chance to contribute to the conversation. And if I am, you're just waiting for an opening, like any type of pause to jump in and say, if I'm talking about whatever it might be, like, I did sports as a kid. Oh yeah, well, I did blah, 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 blah. And I'm finding that I'm running into this type of thing over and over, and I want to know why, Alan.
It's very simple.
Okay, what is it? What's your take? Because I'm dying to know.
Okay, so I'm gonna backtrack here for a second to give some context, because you know the reason that I developed that particular 9-step formula. If you remember the 9 steps, it was carefully crafted. So the first 7 steps have to do with accepting, respecting, loving yourself like your own child, meaning empowering you. And then 8, it has to connect. I always tell people, this is not just about mindset. Unless mindset is connected to emotions, actions, and ultimately relationships and communication is going to be limited. So you've done all this work on yourself, which you've done a very wonderful job at. That's why I tell you that I'm proud of you. That's where I see your growth is. But there's one missing link here in your game, and that is selectivity. If you were my coach and you were helping me to grow personally, and I did all the work and you were proud of me, and then I insist in getting in the evening time, I insist in getting into a lake with alligators, and I keep calling you and say, Elaine, my whole day is ruined because I get into this fucking lake and the alligators are just about to eat me up. I say, well, why are you choosing to be around alligators? When we're attracting less than worthy relationships in our life, sometimes it's because we're so fucked up, we're attracting like-minded people. But in other situations like yours, it's not that you're fucked up, it's you have poor choices and poor decision-making. And the one thing about you, where you and I differ like 100% on this, 180 degrees, I am, maybe to a fault, super selective who I allow into my life, more than just a casual, hello, how are you? Oh, great day, so nice to talk to you. Take care, we'll talk to you some other time. I'm not talking about that. You allow, it's as if you have this innate feeling that you have to be the same with everybody, and everybody is at the same state, and everyone should be able to communicate with you the way you would like it. No, the way you develop relationships, and I'm not talking about communication skills where you get on a fucking camera and communicate to the world. I'm talking about your close relationships that you have with 2, 3, 4, maybe or less people in your life. You need to be highly selective with who you let into your sphere, because if you're not selective and the sharks come, then the sharks are going to eat you up every time, because you're allowing yourself to, you would never allow yourself to go into an area which is filled with infectious disease, which is contagious. You would stay away from that. But yet we don't stay away from relationships and communication, which is equally or worse contagious. Oh, okay, I'll spend 5 hours on the phone with my mother. Then I'll spend my time with these people on social media, asking them intimate questions like, what do you think of this? Or what do you think of that? What do you think of this? Now, that's one thing if you're coaching them and you want to reach out with questions. But the way you are, you give everyone the benefit of the doubt, which appears to be a compassionate thing, but it's a stupid thing. It's not wisdom. There's something called discriminating wisdom. So wisdom is compassion with wisdom. You got to be smart. You got to be very selective with who you let into your life, meaning even your own family. I cut out my family for 9 years of my life, where I decided to be away from them, even though they weren't evil and that bad. But for me, I had to get them out of my life. I had to do what I could to survive and grow. And then carefully, I let them back into my life. And now we have a great relationship because I am great with me and I have my own fucking personal boundaries. So they respect me. But with you, you're running into this because you're not having a fine-tuned tooth comb, maybe out of loneliness, maybe out of stupidity, maybe out of belief, righteous, self-righteous belief that the world should be a certain way, and you're going to get everyone the same benefit of the doubt. And the reason why some people get murdered, like I just watched a documentary where this woman who reached out of compassion got sucked in, money was stolen from her, and then they murdered her. But she was Miss Nice Girl, who was caring and loving, but obviously not picking up on the energies of the other person. So you got to be, we, I, you, me, all of us who want to raise the bar in our relationships of all kinds need to be super selective without being judgmental. I don't mean being judgmental and being a hard ass, but being smart and being aware of who you're giving your time to. That's the answer.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. There is, at the same time, I may want some type of relationship in my life, and I'm going to have to talk to people that I haven't known before, right?
I never said not to. I never said not to. I
But
never
this
said
is
that. Not to.
no, I didn't say that you did, but so I'm running into that with people that I haven't spoken to before. So what, just end the conversation and just don't talk to them again? Like,
Hey, nip it in the bud. You know how many years I spent on the dating sites? The one good
yeah,
thing about dating sites is you don't waste your time. People don't, you don't start reaching out to everyone and say, no, thank you for sending me the request, but I don't think there's a fit. We're not obligated to do that. If we want to do that, we can spend 2 hours online and do that if we want, but pretty soon, sooner or later, we realize we're wasting our time, and we don't owe anybody anything other than people honesty if we allow someone to our life. But it doesn't take very long to discern by the right kind of questions, even if it's dating. You talk once or twice or 3 times, insist that it be on the phone or on a Zoom call so you get to know them before you let them into your home or into your personal life in any way. Then when you meet them, go for a coffee, be careful who you're with, what surroundings. And then with your great interviewing skills, without being too analytical, but you know what I'm talking about, you suss them out. And if you're wise and you're intuitive, which I'm sure you are, quite quickly you can tell. I could tell in 5 minutes often if this is going to work or not. Just I spent 5, 10,
yeah,
15 minutes with the right kind of questions. And before you knew it, I said, this person's not going to shut up. I can see that. Or this person never asks me any questions. I can see that. So I'm just saying, it was great meeting. I don't think this is going to work, but I appreciate that we met. Nothing lost, nothing gained, nothing lost. And who knows what will happen in the future if we bump into each other. It'll be a pleasure to, or whatever. But of course, you're not obligated to because the further you allow them in, the further their expectation that, hey, there's something possible here. A lot of people appreciate the quickness of saying, I just don't think this is going to work. I just feel in my intuition, nothing personal. I just don't think it's going to work. And if they say, can I ask you why? Then you decide if you want to tell them. Either you want to tell them the truth. Well, because you have bad breath, I don't think it's going to work. Or because you smoke, or no, you can just say it's my gut feeling. I don't think there's a match. I've known from my past that when I'm really connected with someone, I know it. And in this case, I feel I don't have that feeling, nothing personal. So if you want to be honest, you can. If you want to be more vague, you can. But you could be out in 5 minutes and get on with the next, on to the next, on to the next. Because you're going to waste a lot of, that old expression, date a lot of frogs before you meet the prince.
yeah. And I guess when you have a conversation with somebody and I have friends like this too, like girlfriends, where they want to talk all the time. They want to, best everybody. They want to they don't give other people a chance to talk. And to me, that's not a conversation. That's just talking at me, because I talked to the person we were talking about on the phone for an hour. And I bet you if I asked any questions like, how many children do I have? Where was I born? Because these are things that were said. He wouldn't know the answer to any of them because I don't think he was listening to a word I said.
Why, if you knew that, why did you have to spend an hour on the phone with him?
I don't know. I was just waiting to see if I was going to get a chance to talk. And then
You
know,
needed to wait an hour to figure that out?
look, sometimes I'm a slow learner, okay?
Fuck.
I know, but and then after I got off the phone, I felt like, oh, sorry, my alarm's going off. I felt pissed off and angry. And I guess that's because I wasn't, when you're doing something that you don't really want to do, and I ended up staying on the phone for an hour, then I ended up like resentful and angry about
You know
it,
what it
right?
is? And you've indicated that you have the same pattern with your husband even recently. He talked over you. You started to own your own power. You're not used to owning your power and taking charge. You're used to giving yourself up and being too passive and then hanging out in that state too long. And then, of course, you're going to get angry. You're going to get pissed off sooner or later because you're not getting what you want. So instead of, if I'm in control in a good way, and I know who I am and I know what I want. Let's say I decide I'm getting on the dating spree. I'm getting back into the dating game. So I know going in, oh, this is going to be pretty easy, because with some people, I won't know after the first conversation, but I'm already observing, because I always like to ask questions, as you probably know. I like to ask questions because I'd like to get information and to get a feel for who this person is. But quite quickly, it won't take me very long. After 10 or 15 minutes, and I'm asking a few more questions, I say, this is interesting. She's not stopping and asking me anything, even when there's some silence. So I said, okay,
Yeah.
I'll give her another 10 minutes. And then she never did. Then I know this is probably not going to work. Now, in some cases, if there's enough of attraction, yeah, who cares? That's only first base. You're a long way from getting a home run. So let's go for coffee. Let's see if there's a physical attraction. Let's get that out of the way pretty quickly. And also, let's see the eye contact. Let's see what you look like, how you dress, whatever. Without overly judging, I want to get a feel if there's enough attraction between us. So now you've got a secondary filter on the second date that hopefully you're meeting the person, unless you want to do a Zoom call instead of a call. That doesn't matter. Either way works. After a Zoom call, oh, geez, they have 5 dimples on their right cheek and it bothered me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. They had a nose ring coming out of, their 2 ears and their nose, and it bothered me. Okay, it bothered you.
Yeah.
Does it bother you enough that that's a deal breaker? Possibly. So you're nice so then you decide this is not going to work. I know it's not going to work. Or I could tell by the tone of voice, I don't like the voice. It's not romantic, whatever. So instead of saying goodbye, you don't say that. You then consciously decide that in 5 to 8 minutes, you're out of there. You're going to ease your way out. You're going to, at some point you say, well, I'm glad that we got on the phone. I must be honest, because I believe that authenticity, I hope you believe this too. But in all my communications and all my relationships, authenticity and honesty is number one. Do you agree with that, sir? Sure. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you because I want to be honest. I just don't feel there's a fit here. And I wish you all the best in the world. I'm glad we had a chance to talk, but I wish you all the best in your search for that right person. And then you're off. And if they keep bugging you and bugging you and bugging you, you know even more that you were right to say that, And so
Do you think in some cases though that people don't realize that they're doing it? They're just excited to be talking and they don't realize that they're cutting you off and not asking questions about you. Do you think that it's possible? And is it something that if they were aware of it, that they might stop doing it?
So
Or
there are 2 parts to 2 answers to that. Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that there's always hope. There's always hope that someone might not be aware and they need to hear that. The only time that I would come in and maybe say something is if I was that powerfully attracted to them, not as a feel I'm pity for them or this or that or whatever. If there's a whole bunch of reasons and not just that, and I know that I don't want to be, I can't see myself in a romantic relationship with this person, then I'm out of, I'm out of there. But if I'm really attracted to them, but disappointed that they don't seem to be listening, then I will give them that opportunity that you're talking about to see if sooner or later, maybe not even in the first conversation, I might park it away and say, you know what? This person deserves, in my mind, a coffee date. And at the coffee date, I'm going to see, because maybe they were a bit nervous, give them the benefit of the doubt, whatever. Then I go for coffee. Same shit happens. Then I decide, do I want to say something or not? Because by then you might have seen 5 other warts that you weren't sure of. But let's say you see that thing rise up and you speak to them, you could give them a chance. But in my mind, it'll 99% of times those won't work, because I want someone who's really have worked on their growth. And part of their growth is their growth in communication and relationships. I don't want to take on a project. I'm not here to be someone's coach. I'm not here to be someone's fucking life coach. Let them take responsibility to get their own fucking life coach, pay, or unless they want to pay me first, then we'll get fucked. We'll fuck each other after they pay me.
It's your own fucking life coach. Oh my God. Maybe I'm going to have put that in my back pocket and use that sometime.
Yeah,
Get your own fucking life coach.
I bet you will.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And I think I think I'm, like a little worn down right now and a little tired, and I need to just watch out for stuff like that. And if I see the first inkling of it, instead of becoming combative with a person, I just need to like withdraw right now and just spend some time on my own. And
well, you just said the key words. You said you're a little worn down. You don't go into battle being worn down. You go in with power.
Yeah.
So if you're a little worn down, then it goes back to the 9 steps. Go back to whatever it is: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual well-being. Get in the zone. Get into your power. Then get on the phone. Get into your power. Then get on the phone. Then you come with confidence. I don't want to enter any communication there. I'm not coming as highly assertive, confident, and communicating at my very best. And I want to give the person my very best, not half and half.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, you're right. As per fucking usual.
I would agree with that. And if you ever use this recording, we gotta probably edit out the fuck.
No, we gotta leave them in, because I mean, this is like a real fucking conversation. This is not like a canned conversation.
So does that help you?
But, yeah, it did. But I still think that there might be something else to it, and I'm just gonna watch and see what kind of things I'm running into, and just be aware of people speaking over the top of me, and how often it happens, and what my reaction to it is. And I guess my reaction should be different in just different circumstances.
I would ask another question, or I would phrase it another way. You keep saying, I've got to be careful about people talking over me. That sounds to me like victim language. They are doing that to me. It's not that.
No. I'm gonna stop you there, because I'm not feeling like I'm a victim. I feel like there's a lesson here, and this is why it's coming up. And I don't feel like I'm being victimized. I feel like something's happening, because it is, and it's happening more than once, and it's happening with different people. And
the lesson's very simple. If someone does that,
are you just fucking talking over me? Did you?
I did that on purpose to see if you'd respond. Sorry, you finish.
Finish. I'm gonna watch. I feel like there's some other lesson here about my own personal growth, and why I'm attracting people to speak over the top of me. And I'm just going to be observant about it and see when it happens. And I'm going to try to have the right reaction in the right context. I guess it depends on where it happens and what it's about and stuff like that. But I'm just going to be aware of it.
Well,
see where
Sorry, go ahead.
Fucking stop fucking talking over me. See where see where my opportunities are, because I feel like it might be one of those things where I need to stand up for myself, and somebody might their feelings, they might feel like, oh, she just told me I was talking over them. But I think if I do it in a nice way, because otherwise I do feel victimized. If I allow it to happen to myself, it's not them doing it to me, it's me allowing something to happen. And I think that the lesson is somewhere in being more assertive.
Okay, so I'm going to answer
With,
that point because you bring up
okay.
a really excellent point. And I agree with everything you're saying. All I'm saying is, if I'm attracting men or women that are talking over me, and in my case, I would say in most cases, it's probably someone that I can't really relate to, because I would hope that they would have developed themselves so we wouldn't have to be in this situation. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe no one said anything to them, and I like so much of who they are that I'm willing to give them a benefit of the doubt. And in your case, clearly, you had to speak up to your husband. So maybe rather than just saying there's not a fit, and here's where I believe that it depends on the situation. There's no black and white answer saying, I'm going to talk my truth to each person. It doesn't work like that. With some people, you might decide to speak your truth. And to this guy, you might say, do you mind, by the way, I hope you don't mind, do you mind if I be honest with you about something that I've noticed? And they say, sure, no problem. And I don't want you to take me the wrong way. I'm just a big believer in transparent communication. So I hope you don't mind. I have found that in the last half hour of our conversation, there's been a tendency for you to talk quite a lot. And I have no problem asking questions and learning more about the other person. But I expect if it's going to be a two-way communication, that the person would also be interested enough in me to ask me questions. And I noticed you didn't really ask me. And were you aware of that? So that's a kind way of teaching them, if that's what you choose to do with that person. But because you do it with one person, doesn't mean right across the board you do it with everyone. Because with some people, it might not be worth your energy to even consider doing that, because there's so many other things wrong with it. You just want to get the fuck out of there. So you have a choice always. Yeah. But I have a feeling in your case, it sounds to me that it goes back to the fact that you're on a roll. You started with your husband. You had an opportunity with this guy. And in the future, speak up. Speak up as often as you can, because I think every time you do that, you're going to be empowering yourself.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things. I think it's outside of my comfort zone. When somebody starts speaking over me, my automatic response is to stop talking and let them talk. And then I feel resentful. And, it's like when somebody asks you to help them move tomorrow, when you have plans tomorrow, and you say, oh yeah, for sure, no, I'll be there to help you move. And you go and you do it. And the whole time you're fucking pissed off, and you're like, I didn't want to fucking help you move today. But what you should have said was, oh, I'm sorry, I already have plans tomorrow. Or even, no, I don't want to. Like, no. And then you wouldn't put yourself in a position and end up being resentful. I think it's one of those things again where, it's like not going along with something that makes me end up feeling pissed off and resentful. So putting myself in an uncomfortable position of saying no.
You know what? You just answered your your original question, because what's really going on is what started with your husband last week or 2 weeks ago is the beginning of a process. And I told you this was going to happen. I said, you're going to get triggered more and more until you learn the lesson sufficiently well that you will it will no longer be a lack of comfort zone. You will feel very comfortable in owning your own power and speaking up for yourself. So maybe rather than get upset about it, use
Yeah.
each one of these situations as an opportunity for you to grow, because it's all about you
Yes.
anyway.
Yes.
They're just
Yeah,
a mirror of your own mind. That's all these people are.
exactly. Yeah.
And so you use it as an opportunity to grow. And if you have to grow, every fucking person that you get triggered by, speak up. Now, eventually there might come a time where you get so good at it that you realize there might be exceptions where you choose not to speak up. Because you know that if you speak up in a certain way, let's say your mother, if you spoke the real truth about certain things, she wouldn't understand it. So you might not be
No.
able to stand up to her that way, you know? But I
Yeah.
would say you just answered your question. Continue to speak up. And that's every time you do that, you're going to be more empowered until you get to Alan Knight's level of communication.
Well, nobody can ever reach that level, but we
Well,
all aspire.
I didn't
We're all
want to,
aspiring.
I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say that.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay, I think you're right. I think this is about me coming into owning my power and not being pushed around by people, not being the quiet one who will just, sit back and let things happen that I don't want to happen.
That's someone who was brought up in a cult, told to shut up and told the party line.
Yeah.
That's what that's all about.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Got it?
Well, yeah, I think I've got some stuff to work with, and I'm just going to be very careful and just watch, because I know what the universe is like. It'll keep throwing stuff at you until it's like, okay,
Oh yeah.
this
Oh yeah.
lessons learned, or I'm working around this lesson, and I, like I said, like, I'm not feeling like in victim mode. I'm feeling like, okay, this is happening for me, not to me.
Yeah. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm so inspired. I'm doing, because of the work that I'm doing in my email newsletter, I'm creating 25 videos, my own little teaching videos. So I have all these topics about communication, relationships, personal development. So I think I'll get off with you and do one on this subject.
Yeah. Okay. Stop stealing my shit, man.
Yeah,
I'm just
no, but
I'll be interested to hear what you have to say about it. I think I'm gonna
I think you
have
got the
some stuff.
message. I think you got
Yeah,
the
I
message.
think I'm gonna have some stuff to say as well.
Good. So I'll send
Okay.
this, I'll send this to you, okay?
Okay, yeah, I think we got some good stuff out of this, and yeah, thanks for the chit chat.
Okay, my dear.
Okay, all right, love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.